who has not necessarily contacts to a terroristic organization, then it's not necessarily unusual that you don't have straight away someone saying per video in other ways that they did it.
That is the German police chief talking about the attack in the Christmas market in Berlin, Germany. Tom Rivers, ABC News correspondent, live from Berlin. Good morning, Tom Rivers.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, this story is a little bit complicated, but let's kind of walk through the main points. It looked like the story was laid out pretty simply. Somebody gets out of the cab, somebody sees him, chases him, tells the cops where he is, end of story. Turns out to be not the case. They got the wrong guy, so 180-degree shift, and we're today looking at the possibility that it may be a Tunisian in his early 20s that the police are looking for. Can you imagine? He did this attack, and he managed to get a runaway and get away. But Der Spiegel, the investigative outlet here, is saying that an ID card was left under the seat of the truck, kind of a hallmark of ISIS attacks. Think back a year ago in Paris, November, some of the bombers did that, put passports by them or ID cards, kind of putting down their mark saying, this is who I am and this is what I've done in the name of ISIS. So there we are. The police have yet to confirm that, but we expect that probably in the next few hours because it is a hot story here right now in Berlin.
Tom, they were talking about possibly two people. Is it still one person or is there a possibility of a second person?
Well, we know at least one, but if you go through the truck driver's cousin who runs the trucking firm, saying that he's seen pictures of his cousin that was killed, the passenger in the truck, and said he looked pretty well beat up. He was a big guy, he said, and he would go down swinging. He says, I can't imagine one person doing that to him. So his view of things is that he was attacked by more than one individual. He was shot and also stabbed.
This is a very well attended market in Berlin. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a beautiful little market. Any video? I can't imagine there isn't video of this attack or of this truck.
Well, you know, there has been some cell phone video which has been released, and some of the media outlets have picked up on that. Anything on the corners of some of the shops here. None of that really has gone out on the media, but the police would be going over that, and it's your guess and mine how good the quality is on what they see. But they are not releasing it. As I say, they're trying to keep everything tight at this moment. They don't want a situation like the November attacks in Paris, where one of the attackers got away, hopped the border, got into Belgium, hid out in Brussels for months. They're doing everything they can to catch this guy as quickly as possible, dead or alive. They don't want this thing strung out and maybe even strung out over a number of countries here.
Tom Rivers, what's the feeling in Berlin and in Germany about this being an ISIS-inspired attack? Germany has been very welcoming to refugees from Syria and very much of an open borders and very open to all of this. What's the reaction to all of this now?
Yeah, the reaction right now is that the opposition is going to use this in the campaign. We're seeing the rise of populism in America. We're seeing it rising here in Europe as well. We've seen it with Brexit in the UK, and it's going to be a hot button issue. Immigration, hot button issue here in Germany this spring in the general election when Merkel goes for her fourth term as chancellor. So, watch his space. It's going to be a tough campaign. She says it's going to be the toughest campaign she's ever been involved in. And she says the issues facing the country are at a level not seen since reunification. So she says there are some major ripples ahead.
Tom Rivers live in Berlin, Germany with the latest on that attack in that Christmas market. Tom Rivers, thanks for checking in.
Take care.
656, Big 550, KTRS. This is a market where it's sort of the old and the new sort of combined. They've got nice huts that line the street, and they sell everything from trinkets to jewelry to, scarves and hats and things, little purses. And then they've got all sorts of food outlets all around. And then in the middle of this market, they have this beautiful church that was destroyed in the bombing of Berlin as the Russians fought hand-to-hand combat with the Germans in World War II. And in this church, or on the facade of this church, which they have left, sort of destroy to sort of as a marker, you can see the bullet holes from the guns, from the fighting, from World War II. It's a pretty extraordinary market. Wow. Really tragic and really sad story. 6:56, Big